What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 5 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Fay Enchantress Immortal Empires. Now, Old World Classic campaign. It's a really hard habit to shake. Anyway, as we saw last time, we had our first battles against the Skaven. One of our peasant mobs took a, well, not the peasant mobs, but mobs of peasants, I should say, took a nuke to the face and were instantly wiped out, but our important units remain fine, and it cost Ticket 3 of his armies, which is pretty nice. We also did decide to take Abino, the last remaining territory of Miragliano, as the Miragliano faction lost Miragliano itself, and frankly, it's a territory that we want for ourselves, just by virtue of the fact that there are, what, 2 ports and 3 trade goods, and Miragliano's a special settlement with 5 or 10 rather building slots. This is probably going to be the biggest money-making province that we have by a pretty wide margin, and I don't know whether there's a nearby bigger money-making territory that doesn't belong to the Bordelot Errant, and thus the Bordelot Harbor, but yeah, it's pretty good. Oh, look at that. Speaking of pretty good, Lewin's doing okay. In part, I'd wager because of the Confederation with Longuille, but I'm glad to see it. It would be a shame if he was already wiping out. Speaking of glad to see it, as some of you said, the caravan, as in the comments, the caravan mod makes the world feel more alive, and I'm inclined to agree with that. It's not just the fact that we can travel over the world ourselves and, you know, have this little, almost like mini roguelike battles with the units and stuff that we gather for the caravans, but there's also the fact that we encounter caravans from the other Order-Tide factions. We have a Karazakarak and a Reichland caravan right here, which is also very nice to see. But anyway, let's get started with whatever it is we want to do this turn, and in fact, let's do a little bit of leveling, because especially the Green Knight, while we have him for the 20 turns, we should level up. I'm going to say we'll max out Shield of Thorns first, since we have a basic version of Earthblood, and I like to cast Shield of Thorns basically whenever it's on cooldown. It's just a very strong spell in SFO. Then, Green Knight, you are the most important one. The question here is, nightly tournaments will give us unit XP gain for every single unit we have, which is good, but Lord and Hero recruit rank. I'm actually inclined to say this is, I mean, it's +3, it's pretty solid for any new ones we get. I'm going to say we'll take Legendary Chivalry, and then obviously we'll grab Wisdom of the Ages for the additional research. And let's also level up these guys while we're at it. You have increased mobility maxed out. Let's grab Gift of the Lady, which is a tiny, tiny 30-meter area physical resistance buff, but where whichever peasant line you're reinforcing will probably be thankful for it. I'm inclined to actually save points on the Friar, though, as opposed to getting any of this. Although the additional speed from Fanaticism will make you even more able to reposition yourself. I'm starting to like the fleet-footed one more and more. Huh. Even without the, even with... we might be able to speed max this guy over 100 speed and just have him run alongside the cavalry. I think this would amuse me tremendously, and I might do it just because of that. You know, a couple of speed items, a speed banner, plus Fanaticism and fleet-footed. Do you have any additional speed buffs? It doesn't look like it, but it's certainly something that's looking like it's more and more possible. I'm just smiling at the thought. I want to replicate Sigvald and his running, if at all possible, with anybody. But anyway, let's get Fanaticism, but then we'll save speed to go all the way through Retinue Valet into Retinue Physician. Paladin, you, my friend, are going to... Alright, I was saving your points because I still haven't decided whether you're going to stay in this army or not, and that does depend on which of these you get. Therefore, we'll get you, and I guess a mix of Hard to Hit and Deadly Blade for now, and we'll see about other stuff later. And then Sir Malric, you... I mean, I guess we could max out your critical stuff like the Battle Pilgrims and stuff. The 5% ward save will also be really helpful to the Grail Reliques, because... Wait a second. Oh, I just wanted to see whether... a Lady's Mantle was anything particularly interesting, but it's just a regular ability. Well, Defense on Defending is also not bad. Yeah, let's get Icon of Devotion for now. But yeah, Grail Reliques have a tendency, like any support unit, to be targeted by range fire, and thus I don't want them to, you know, explode. Anyway, you guys are good. Then, Alicia the Saracen has reached rank 10, which means we can reset her and transfer her back this way, all the way to Embrun. Although, funnily enough, wait. It'll take roughly the same amount of turns to get there walking as resetting. And therefore, I think we'll keep her on field, because if we do this right now, you go here. We can level her up and get the additional research rate. It will start yet another errand tree, but it is what it is. We'll basically have an infinite number of errand trees thanks to the prophetesses. So, Peasant's Purpose and Arcane Wisdom is the main thing. Oh, we were eventually going to have to reset you anyway because we want 10th share rather than bonded service. On the other hand, I suppose we could... You'll level over time anyway, so... Yeah, alright. We'll do this. Alright, and we've got errand tree begins... I guess Vampire Counts are the only option again, because Coast and Tomb Kings... I mean, there are some Vampire Coast up here and down here, but they're still rather far from us. And if we're most likely going to move towards Kemmler, it's Vampire Counts again, I think. Alright. Like so. You're good. What about you two? So, you're rank 12, but you're actually going to command an army, and I actually think that we want to get you an actual army rather soon. Possibly this episode, but obviously Bertrand is going to take priority since we've spent the 4,000 gold to get the Outlaws camp here. And then you still need to level and, in fact, maintain your points until you're ready to go. Now, let us see two things. First of all, heroes. Very tempted to just get another fleet-footed friar now, but anyway, let's take a look at... Okay, it's Embrim, by the way. Virtue of Noble Disdain and Virtue of Heroism, neither one is one I want. Damsels. I believe there should have been another one. Yes, another favored by the lady, and I think we will recruit you despite the cost. Basically, any one of our ranged armies wants these, and any peasant army will want at least one and likely multiple damsels because of the damsels providing the soft spot for the small folk, that's physical resistance, as well as the weapon strength for any peasant units, and that combines with the onslaught. So basically every single damsel will provide 13% weapon strength and 5% physical resistance for every single peasant unit in the army, not to mention the range buffs for any of the range units. So overall, it's good to have them. We do need more capacity of these, though. And I think by virtue of it, by virtue of the fact that we need more capacity of damsels, we'll probably want to, rather than building the weaving houses, maybe start building grail chapels. Because it will give us additional friar and damsel capacity. And we will want to have at least some tech thieves and obviously damsels in rather pretty much every army. So yeah, we'll go for the Grail Shrines, and especially with the Fay Enchantress lowering their costs overall. I think that makes sense. Also kind of tempted to build defensive structures here in Salignac-la Rouge, but once again, if a full stack attacks, I don't think it'll help at this time. In the meantime, I think we will start investing in this location, so let's go for grazing pastures and farms. And I guess we will want to immediately upgrade Occupied Miragliano, as well as, well, get you a farm there as well. Alright. And this place will hopefully be able to make money rather soon, and frankly, well, we could use another farm in Turin, but 555, I mean, we could lose, you know what, let's collect money for a little bit, and then we'll uncollect the income unless the public order fixes itself. Oh, actually, fixing public order. We now have level 10 on Bertrand, so range plus 10% for his army, but more importantly, control plus 2 for all provinces. Not much, it won't quite carry the day there, but it will, bonus versus large for Lord's army. The following units will receive, oh, that's the flaming attacks from the merry men, eh? Yeah, alright, fine. What was I saying? Oh yeah, it'll make it a little bit better. Chivalry while raiding, ambushing, post-battle loot chance, ambush success chance, go figure. In fact, wait, if this army likes to ambush, which, you know, a brigand army might, we may want to go towards Fleeting Shadow. Yeah. Though the Vanguard deployment, I assume, is useless to you, rather, because you already have Vanguard deployment. Anyway, let's go the Brigand. Like so, and then I think everybody else we can level later, minus the replenished troops, because... Well, you know what? Just in case you get attacked, let's at least get Shield of Thorns, and you don't have a base variant of Earthblood, so we'll get you that, and then Life Bloom as the priority next. And yeah, well, you know what? I'm actually going to say we'll grab Esteemed Combatant. I'm just a little bit concerned that the orcs out of Foul Peak might attack us, and thusly, you know, want to not not chance it. You're waiting to get Tolerance, which is next level, which will take up 4 of your points. It's the physical resistance we want, but we do thusly have points to grab Soulfire. Don't really need Lady's Mantle, at least not right now. And if this is 4 points, we have this at level 15, this at level 16, so neither one is necessary. We could start going through this to make you fightier, but generally speaking, I like to buff armies over buffing individuals. So let's get a point in Retinue Valet, and then with the 4 points, we'll get all of that stuff. Wait. Yeah, level 15. Okay, we're good, we're good. Alright, so that's the levels. That's the buildings, and I do believe, unless there is another lord that we want to recruit on field right now, namely a prophetess. Protected, Generous Spirit, Barkskin, Mystique, and Galvanic. Bound Chain Lightning with 2 uses. It's not bad, actually. Though it is no further buffs to the actual army. Oh, we have another Generous Spirit of the Heavens. Oh, we should actually get you on field as soon as we have enough cash. And then delete you, maybe. Well, actually, we could just get you up to rank 10 and then reset you until you're ready. Frankly, there's a decent argument to be made for doing the same with pretty much every single one of the free lords. Get everybody following Fay Enchantress. Alright, let's go to diplomacy real quick. See what we've got here. Bordlow Errant, we are definitely going to... can't quite do the trade agreement, but we'll take your cash until you're ready to trade. Montfort, same situation. I don't want to do any defensive alliances with them as yet, but we will do all of the other agreements. Mostly because I just don't want to get drawn into wars to the north while we're busy with the Uranus situation, which is the lorefully accurate, generally speaking, situation that Carcassonne has to deal with. Orcs constantly being irritating. Though to be fair, orcs are generally speaking the, the problem for pretty much all of Bretonnia at all times. Anyway, yeah, I was gonna say we'll grab a prophetess, another Generous Spirit with that upkeep reduction, and have you follow. So you're gonna go here, and we will grab Inspiring Presence and Root Marcher, and then we'll wait for the rest. Like so, and now you have 3 following you once again. Oh, and we had to do this, so that'll give us some of our money back. Lovely. Alright, we'll save the rest of the money for upgrades next turn. Alright, now let's end the turn. Oh, we got rat hunting to do after all. A raiding, fairing... Oh, every time. it freaks me out to see raiding every time, but it's the spread the word stance. I wish it were like a... I wish it were like an encamp stance variant rather than a raiding stance variant. And just because then it wouldn't, you know, show up like that. Although I do wonder if there is a good reason for it being a raiding stance variant. Like maybe there's something about the mechanics of raiding that make it the better choice. And I'm just not sure, so I will say nothing further on it, lest I make a further fool of myself. Anyway, let's see. Looks like no further attacks. Looks like the Ramatib dynasty still lives, which might mean that these guys failed in their attack. If in fact they did attack or they backed off.
A quest has been issued, mighty lord. A great adventure beckons. Be wary though, for while the potential rewards are great, so too are the perils.
Damn, +5 here recruit rank from damsels. That's going to be real good for any tech thieves or just any damsels. Norska, we got a giant pile of marauders, eh? I mean, we could certainly fight this with just the Grail Knights or Grail Guardians alone. Although I do note that we are damaged still. I'm tempted by it. Alright, we'll probably do that sooner rather than later. What do we have here? A raider for Inez. Control -2, own local province, and income from raiding +25, chivalry -2 per turn. Yes, okay. Negative growth, -20 local province. Huh. Oh, and the Gotrek and... Oh, I hate this quest so freaking much. We should probably do this fairly early as well, though I do want to save the bonus casualty replenishment rate from this as well. For an emergency, or for when we have more territory. Anyway, some of you have pointed out in the comments, yeah, just staying outside and raiding like this will generate this negative trait. However, it seems to be only a single level to it, unless there's another different one. So this effectively counteracts the 2 bonus control that we get from the raiding stance, so control 2. But, obviously, it then We still get the income from all buildings, and we still get the bonus XP and all that, so it's not that big of a deal. The small chivalry loss is a little bit irritating. The more important thing is, garrisoning will still remove this, so we just need a chapel. And I guess we could move you over to St. Jacques and garrison you once it's upgraded to the next tier. Yeah, that seems like the thing to do. Alrighty.
I serve the lady.
Or even just keep you raiding. There is that argument to be made for it as well. Anyway, you're favored by the lady. We need to get you moving southward because you're going to go into one of those armies. Bert, we're going to pop you into... Well, I'd like you to recruit, so I guess that's going to have to be next turn. So you're going to have to go to Embrun because you can't recruit here at Summer's Fall. So, yeah. Like so. And just to double check that there is no further shepherd... there's a new shepherd right here, but we already have 4 following. Or 3 following to make 4 total. Anyway, wow. It would take... wait, there's no crossing here into the Blighted Marshes? I mean, I guess. Nobody wants to be in the Blighted Marshes, even... I'm not even sure the rats want to be there. So it might be better to go by sea. I take it we won't heal here. But... once we land, we'll take attrition as well. Maybe it would be better to cross by land. At least we'll have 1 turn of healing. And then, oh wow. It actually would be considerably faster to go by sea. You know what? I'm willing to forego the healing.
We have met before.
I just hope it doesn't screw us over. We shall see. Again, we have the Grail Knights and the Knights of the Realm now to rely upon. You follower lords, go here. And... yeah, looks like these guys did win against them. Go figure. Well, you know what? That is actually good for us. If they take Via Datsa, that would be ideal. As long as they don't immediately attack us, which they might very well do. We'll see. You will also follow, also this way. This little caravan, convoy. What's a little caravan? Is a convoy a caravan of ships? You know what I mean. What's that called? You, lastly. Renee. I'm actually kind of tempted to put Renee here in Chateau Le Vert because I was thinking that she would be a... Oh, also you. You wanted to go up here. Problem is, these guys could then attack you. You know what? I'm gonna pop you into Chateau Le Vert first, and then we'll see it later. Yeah. Just in case. I don't think they'll immediately attack you, but they're gonna attack somebody. Wait, who are they at war with? Oh, and they're allied with rats? Yeah, that's not so great for us. Although they are fighting a lot of factions. Anyway, let us see. You guys are good. I'm going to risk it and not send Renee down there. We will need to recruit her some stuff. In fact, I want her to get some Knights Errant. I'm also now a little bit concerned that Ramatep might attack her, but we still got 5 turns, I think, since we've pieced out with them. Though, admittedly, the AI generally doesn't give a damn about that, and will attack you regardless. So, we'll see, I guess. Livestock pens, farms, we will probably want to upgrade these in a second. But I want to see... So we have farms here, this is good as it is. We could upgrade the Grail Chapel, which is not that expensive right now, which doubles the chance of negating any negative trait, and increases the control. No adjacency control bonus, but it also gives us 1 friar and 1 damsel, which makes it pretty darn worth it. Yeah, oh, and every single turn, I know it's annoying, but we will have to check the paladins until we get the virtue that I want. And later on, hopefully we'll have enough money to just mill them, but obviously we don't currently have the time to mill them. You know what, screw it, I'm gonna get the fleet-footed, friar. Like so. He's not that expensive, and I would like to start him leveling up. The rest of this is good, so we will skip. Double check diplomacy real quick. Aha! Arguelon. Caravans, I would love to get the defensive alliances with you, but we're not ready for it yet. So Arguelon, we will do you. Make friendly with all the wood elves.
The woods of Athelloren, well.
Like so and like so, and Visenland and Nullen, yes, sure, why not. Also gotta double check our caravans.
At the lady's disposal.
Wait, Paravan.
Courtesy may compel
we will wait on the defensive alliance. We will go for the defensive alliance with you, just not yet. Not until we have at least 1 more army up and running. Sith rolls at 0-0. How much for this? 73? Yeah, we'll take it. And this will give us vision, presumably, of the mountainous territories, though the dwarves don't like us for allying with all of the wood elves, which may be a concern. I think we might be forced to fight dwarves over the course of this campaign, even though there's no anti-dwarf errantry, though the very idea would amuse me. Anyway, let's end this turn. Also, once again, when the turn is ending, I promised a double episode. Most likely it will be tomorrow, as in I doubt that I'll have time to do it today, but we shall see. Either way, the engagement streak remains at 400 likes and 60 comments. And if it's tomorrow, then stay tuned for the double episode tomorrow. I'll try to post one sort of in the morning and then in the day, or in the morning and in the evening, sort of so they're further away from each other on that day, but we'll see. It'll happen. One of these days. And then possibly another one if I can make it happen on maybe, I don't know, Monday, Wednesday, we'll see. For now, though, we have got to get to those rats while not healing. And take a little bit of damage in the marshes. And the question then is also going to be whether we want to land at the Great Mills and take it out, or whether we want to immediately try to attack SKAVENBLIGHT. Ooh, unit experience. For the caravan. Cost of moving this turn. Yeah, sure. I think that's not the worst idea. Confederation, Ursun Revivalists, and Saryovshina. Sure. Now we can set post construction, wandering something, and yeah, we can land here and immediately, presumably... Huh. Would we suffer attrition immediately upon landing or no? I can't quite tell. We would here. I don't see a little death icon. Yeah, I think we would. But I think we would either way. Attacking the Great Mills first would allow us to heal, but SKAVENBLIGHT probably has a bunch of elites. Yeah, I'm gonna say we go to the Great Mills. Oh, wait. We probably won't be able to heal anyway due to the massive casualty replenishment rate reduction due to the uninhabitable climate. Meaning... maybe we are better to land here? On the other hand, I am a little bit wary of our follower armies getting ambushed. You know what? Let's go to the Great Mills first. Regardless. Because then if we land here and there's an enemy army that's in the Great Mills, they'll just attack us and ambush the little peasant armies. Alright, you guys will follow. In fact, you will lead, but you will not land immediately. Because it'll keep us... well, maybe not safe, somewhat safe. We'll see in a second. Like so. Alright, we'll suffer attrition. But with a army with half HP anyway, I'd rather to attack the smaller settlement first anyway. I wonder if they'll have a nuke by the time we reach there. Do we have anything that reduces our attrition per turn? Retinue Quartermaster, that's it, but we are not there yet. You're just gonna have to save points for it. Alright, fair enough. New Friar, you are going this way. New Damsel, you are going this way. We're gonna have a little bit of a time reaching our territory, but that's alright. Alicia the Saracen, go to Summershall Fort, while Bertrand goes into Embren and begins recruitment. Lovely. You go here, you go here. Oh, I gotta say, I'm absolutely loving this crusade stance. The ability to travel further without necessarily relying on march stance is just fantastic. You. I just want to see our ancillaries and see if there's anything that would increase our recruitment capabilities, but I'm not seeing anything. Alright, fair enough. Alright, let's start with some. Let's see, we've got standard brigands, which are swords, and... huh. Oh, we get a tiny bit of anti-large via the buff from Bert himself. He's got 21 and 19, solid attacks, but low HP, and basically getting garbage for armor. We are not going to wait to get them armored up, though, because I don't feel it's appropriate for peasants. And we got lots of armor piercing on the great axes. Alright, let's definitely get some great axes. We'll need those to hack apart the big uns. And, yeah, we'll definitely want those crossbows. Although I take it, so the crossbows will be our line-ranged units, whereas the... yeah, you know what? Let's go 3 crossbows. I'm gonna build another one of the Great Axe Brigands. Are we not able to build for... Oh, we have the Brigand Raiders, which are light cav. Alright, we'll build a couple of them, but I'd rather use range cav, to be honest. Light cav are fine, but when you have range cav options that can fire and then still chase enemies down, we'll probably use more of them, but we'll keep a couple of them. I want sort of generalist sort of feel for this army, I think. Although depending, since Bertrand wants to buff up range units, I might swap the generalist to a crownless lord, and then give Bertrand more of a range-focused army later on. Not necessarily right now, but we'll see. Anyway, Diplo check, and we gotta do the traits, or not the traits, the rights.
Yes?
Zaya, Caravans, Manfa, Brigand, yeah, that's all great, just not right now. We have 2 more turns of Anger of the Fay. Oh, so maybe we'll want to wait until this is up, because then we'll pop Vision of Magic for the additional research, construction time, and construction cost for infrastructure, which is really nice. So yeah, we'll hold off on this then, for 2 turns. I think that'll work. Alright, we're good to go. We gotta level up for... I was hoping it would be the Green Knight, but oh well. Alright, fair enough. Skip. We gotta fight. Let's end the turn. Gotta deal with these rats, and then hit the greenskins pretty much immediately. Before they attack us, that is. And then rush towards the vampire counts for the errantry objectives. Alright, somebody pointed out that to make the errantries easier, we could in theory sack territories without occupying them. I don't know how I feel about that, so I'm going to maybe leave it up to you guys. Let me know what you feel. Does that feel cheaty? Does it feel cheaty to repeatedly sack the same territory and stand there just to complete the objective? I don't know. It feels iffy to me is what I'm getting at, but we'll see. There's also, of course, the argument to be made for, you know, it not being too obnoxious. As in not having to rush all over the world just to complete the objectives. That's kind of what errantry is all about, so, I don't know. Anyway, we've got the Great Mills to attack in a second. What is this? Ah, we got some orcs. Alright. Oh, I was excited to find out whether the caravans fighting orcs would count for the purposes of our errantry, so I'm going to say yes, we will draw weapons, and hopefully we'll find out. We got some war boys and some river trolls this time. This is the elven army, so they've never actually fought orcs. It was our imperial gunnery army that had fought orcs. Lovely. Yeah.
Today, the lance will end what they fully began.
Alrighty, here we go. Now we do outnumber the enemy, which is good, but we have little enough melee troops compared to theirs, as, well, literally every single one of their units is melee, and we only have 4 of our melee line holders, which is the 2 spears and the men-at-arms, and frankly, without red line buffs, both High Elven spears and the our own men-at-arms would lose to orc boys, so we do need to be, well, rather careful there. Anyway, the battle will start off with our wood elven units, which, once again, Carcassonne colors. Again, the blue and orange has been really working for me, and I'm surprised by it, because every time I figure it wouldn't be the sort of color scheme that I would normally think would be that great, but anyway. I suppose with the Wood Elves in particular, it looks sort of, the orange aspect at least, looks like an autumn color, and there's an orange-themed at least one Wood Elf faction, so kind of makes sense. Anyway, the Knights begin their charges, but at least in part right now to distract the enemy while we try to engage the enemy Boar Boys. We're going to rush them with the spears just to force them into just to force them to sit there for a bit, while we hit them with as many arrows as we can and prepare them to take a charge from the anti-large Knights of the Realm here. Between the anti-large bonuses and everybody hitting them from literally every direction, the Boar Boys quickly crumble, and them being the biggest threat on the field by virtue of their ability to rapidly close the distance with our range units, it's good that they are no longer there. Now, the knights will have to withdraw, or at least the more damaged unit is going to back off, while the less damaged unit essentially forces the enemy back to give them some space. The enemy trolls are going to be the next biggest threat. Fortunately, our own lord moves to intercept them with the other unit of spears, who pin them in place with their anti-large, while literally all of our arrow-firing units focus them down until they break. Now we just got to make sure that they shatter, either by bow or by hitting them with one of our cavalry units. Alright, come on, shatter. Can't have them coming back because while running away they will recharge or heal thanks to troll metabolism, but it looks like with that, that unit shatters. Lovely. Now it's time for the melee troops to engage each other. The orc boys facing off against our high elven troops, as well as the men-at-arms. Oh man. I was about to say, imagine the normally arrogant and supremacist high elves being forced to fight against, or with rather, a Bretonnian peasants. And again, with Bretonnian peasants being not just regular peasants, but also having more likelihood to be mutated and all that. Not so great for the high elves nearby. Not that it matters over much for us, plus the very concept I find quite amusing. And I was also about to say, it's a little bit of a shame that the caravan lords don't seem to have a sort of skill line that would buff the additional units that they get, as in sort of, you know, just buffs infantry or buffs cavalry or buffs whatever. But on the other hand, at least with this particular caravan, while normally you'd think a commander, you know, would grow to be able to better command, you know, other factions' units as well. Maybe not as well as their own, but, you know, to give them some buffs. At the same time, I could certainly see High Elven and Wood Elven units just not listening, just fighting and just ignoring the commands of any human. But anyway, I digress. It does look like the enemy lord has pretty soundly defeated our own lord, which did about 3,000 damage, has been forced away, so we send the Empire Captain in to try to help out. Keeping in mind, of course, that the Empire Captain at least is on foot, and thus will have a little bit of a better chance in terms of not being hit from every direction. Our lord having to stay still while on the mount meant that it most likely took more damage from the nearby orc boys. Speaking of the orc boys, it looks like with the exception of the lord, all the boys are pretty much out of the picture. And now the goal is to make sure that we run them down or fire arrows upon them, or just make sure that those routing do not come back. And it looks like the goal has been achieved, as all of the enemy units are out, and with them the enemy lord shatters, and with that, the battle is ours. Certainly a nice little fight, and once again, love the caravans breaking up the administrative aspects with these fights. Alright, there we go, a nice fight. Well, the enemy was outnumbered, so they had little chance, especially considering we had our Knights of the Realm, with the better performing unit getting 26,000 damage and 188 kills, though a few of the other units are certainly no slouches. Unsurprisingly, the heavy arrowheads of the High Elven Archers doing about twice as much damage as that of the regular, not even pox, peasant bowmen, and a similar sort of situation on the Deepwood Scouts as well, though actually doing a little bit less or on par than the High Elven Archers with heavy arrowheads, probably due to a smaller lack of armor piercing, but the benefit of these guys was that they were able to get around the enemy and then fire into their flanks and rear, rather than, you know, just to the front of the face. Not that that isn't effective as well. Some solid work out of our line holders, happy with the result. We will ransom the captives because, as always, we can use the cash. Lovely. Decrees of Bretonnia is up. Oh, thank you. Oh, I've been waiting for this one. Royal Pegasus for René Dignot. Who are you? Which one are you? You are... Oh, you're one of these. Yes. Okay, that's fine. Oh, right. You were... yeah, I was about to get you some Knights Errant, and this still needs to be the case. Oh, wow. These guys will have 2 stacks up in very short order. We gotta make sure you're ready. Let's get a couple of regular Brigands. They're slightly melee defense tankier than... what's our melee infantry bonus? Anti-infantry bonus? It's 8, so it's not that big, eh? Even with the 8 melee infantry bonus, I feel like the great axes are probably going to be the superior unit, but we'll build some of these just to see how they function. It's not like they're expensive. I'm gonna say at least one more crossbow, but I want mobile range units in this particular army. Now, technically speaking, outlaws don't count as peasants, so it doesn't hurt our peasant economy, which is great for this particular reason. Let's get a couple of brigands as well. We'll ignore the mounted yeoman archers, though I really should have left the wardens of Montfort with this particular army. Just too bad, but whatever. And then we'll need to have room for Erimo and the other unit, but we won't have them until this is at tier 4. Oh, we need to save up 6.4k. Make sure the Castle Carcassonne is getting ready to be upgraded. Now here, we are currently fighting the rats. Let's get sewer cleaning decree. I thought it was sever something, but we'll sever something, don't you worry. So yeah, that's good. Also, we have 6 from Never-Ending Duty. I take it we get 1 per turn, so we'll be able to get Relentless in 4 turns. Just gotta pay attention to it. 1 more turn until the Anger of the Fay becomes the Peace of the Fay, or whatever it is. Alrighty, so you, Fay Enchantress, head to the Great Mills. I want to see what's going on over here. Is it defended? It is not. It is still going to warrant a fight, though, because we have taken attrition and we need to preserve our units. We will also land to reinforce, and I'm going to hope that we are just out of range of any potential attacking armies, as it would be unfortunate to lose all these guys to ambushes, but we'll see. I see no military presence in SKAVENBLIGHT currently, which is the important thing. And if there's no military presence, military presence -2. Maybe that's our military presence. Or maybe the rats get negative military presence. I don't know. You, Verna, switch your little troop here to Renee. So that she survives if anything happens. Alright, go here. Renee is the only one of these that really matters because these two are shepherds. So it doesn't, or shepherdesses, whatever. Well, they're traded shepherd, you know what I mean. Brianna the Saracen, go here. And then the Friar. Go here. Alright, looks good. Alicia, you are going to use a little bit of control here. You know what? Sit here for a little while and say spread the word stance. Ooh, yes, let's upgrade the water wheel for money. The landed estate for money. The landed estate for money. And ignore the rest of this for now. Just want to see. Did these guys, and by these guys I mean the Wood Elves, manage to wipe out that army? Looks like they're trying to go for Carrick Bufdar. They'd probably win. They have Wild Riders. Well, if they're keeping them busy, that would be good. There was a comment asking if we could trade Quesnel and Bus and whatever other territories that the Wood Elves took for territories up here, potentially. And the only way that we could do that is if these guys do manage to take at least 1 territory here, so we could trade it, and if we get a territory somewhere up here, because you can't trade across the river like this. This doesn't count as a border. I don't think even Quesnel will count. Yeah, see, there's no trade settlement available with Orion, so we'll need to wait for that to potentially happen. Reichland wants an non-aggressive. Ooh, strength rank 2. Good job, Reichland.
Hail to Leon Core. Affirmative.
I'm always happy to see when the Empire does well, even when I'm playing their enemies. I don't know. I need the Empire to do well. They're the heart of the setting, and I don't know.
Loyal to the
They have enough problems. Let them be okay for once. Let's see. Vidrioth and Anmir. How much? 1,000? That's not happening. Alright. Well, that's good. Then we will... What is this?
You honor me.
Where are you going, Ramatep? You had the opportunity to take Viadatsa, and instead you are sailing towards... the next Nappas? Is that what you're doing? What is he doing? Why are you stupid? Or is he maybe trying to sneakily attack us while we besiege these guys? I don't know. Some weird's going on. What I do know, those that were attacking. Great Mills.
It is a great deed we must do today. Should they win this game, Bretonnia will be naught but Ruinous for victory!
Alrighty, here we go. the sort of territory, the sky's all green thanks to the Skaven corruption, but I'd like to think it isn't actually Skaven green. This is all just, I don't know, the environment mimicking the power of the Green Knight. In the meantime, though, we got a smaller battle that we've still got to fight. Our peasants, of course, are marching towards the enemy, but let's see whether they can reach here before the Knights take out everything here. A Vanguard deployment on the Green Knight and the Fay Enchantress means that they start the battle by heading towards the enemy lord, or at least the Green Knight, to duel the enemy lord, and have defeated the enemy lord already, as the warlord is down to 20% of his HP, while the Knights continue riding through the enemy, making sure that they knock out the critical elements of their army, like the artillery piece and the death globes, or poison ones rather. No, death globes. And then working on those plague monks, which with their dual wielding and fast attacks would definitely be a threat to the peasants when they arrive. Man, I can see why Bretonnia needs the savior trait on every lord, because you need the peasants to get the extra speed. And I certainly don't expect the knights to wait while the peasants slowly march towards the enemy. Also, while we are in Knights of the Realm now, on our second knightly unit, Knights Errant are dirt cheap and pretty fantastic for early game Bretonnia. You can basically build a stack with nothing but peasant mobs, or maybe peasant mobs and a couple of archer units, and then 2 to 4 Knights Errant are more than sufficient on top of that to win battles against most early game armies. And if you go 2 Knights of the Realm and 2 Knights Errant, certainly more than sufficient, because then you have the ability to fight enemy cav, thanks to their anti-large bonuses. Anyway, with that, it looks like the battle is pretty much done. Only the Plague Monks still left, being sent flying through the trees. Too bad that there was no no interaction where if you send a charge, or if you charge and send a infantry unit flying and it smashes into a tree, it would be nice if it actually, smashed into the tree. Nice whack from our friar at one of the last units of Plague Monks. We're down to 4. Hey, the Battle Pilgrims are here. It took a little bit of time, but they're here at last, and they tear that poor little Plague Monk to shreds. And with that, no, there's one more. And with that, there we go. The battle is ours. Not to worry, since we're looking to threaten SKAVENBLIGHT itself, I'm sure the peasants will get plenty of time to play and die at the clan Scryer, or all of Skavendom, really, capital. Alright, there we go. Quick little fight. The peasants only got there because of their slow walking just about at the time the enemy was already wiped out. But again, it wasn't a full stack, and we just wanted to preserve our units. The Knights of Ni here, with nearly 800 kills and 83,000 damage, racking up that unit XP, though, so they'll be upgradable soon as well. And 40,362 on the end is our Grail Guardians, but again, due to the fact that they have less models and such, they are going to be a little bit less killy against basic infantry, like this. And the rats have nothing if not copious amounts of light infantry. Occupy the Great Mills, please. Alright, now I assume... Wait, are you guys... Oh, you're safe from attrition here. Oh, good. Alrighty, we got a free Luckstone. Ooh, Beast Slayers of Bastan. That's good. I would like to... Is Bastan around? Wait. Wait, diplomacy. They should be up here. They've been destroyed. I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, we will want to put these guys in an actual army, and fairly soon, but an army that will most likely want to make use of foot squires, gained by executing captives. Well, isn't that lovely? Enchantress just loves executing. Anyway, Beast Slayers, you got 85 armor, so... Yeah, we got this guy with the virtue of empathy for all the additional armor on the non-knight units. We could use this to bump up basic men-at-arms and stuff even further, or we could use a core of more expensive units of foot squires and beast slayers there, with a few melee infantry as well. That's something to think about. Also, while we're here, ooh, Virtue of Audacity. Hello, you bolstered attack. Now, out of curiosity, can we get Virtue of Audacity? Does anybody know on the on regular paladins? I'm just saying, if we can, then obviously we will want to. Be careful about not wasting a lord trait on it when we can have something like Virtue of Empathy. Yeah. Anyway, what was this? Wait, did I? Yeah, that was this turn. Okay, I just wanted to double check that I had done, in fact, the recruitment. You guys cannot switch stances. Fay Enchantress, you will want to sit in here, max out your healing. We will, by the looks of it, be able to just reach SKAVENBLIGHT, and I'm willing to bet that they'll have a heck of an army waiting for us in the garrison. How many more turns until these guys? 3 turns, okay. Since they did not decide to attack via Datsa, we will want to maybe go there. Ooh, Morgiana has another upgrade. I'm tempted to upgrade it, but with Castle Carcassonne getting ready to be upgraded to tier 4, the main thing that we're waiting for is to get the smithy in order to get the plus 10 armor when recruiting, which will enable us to replace all of these guys,
Spellcaster.
the basic stuff, into sort of the Fay Enchantress's final units, including better battle pilgrims and all of that, and punt the rest of these to another army, but also start naming the additional units and all that. Although the brigands are basically all free to name now, so there is that. Do keep that in mind. Yes. Anyway, we will end the turn, unless I'm mistaken. You're fine, everybody else is fine. Let's end the turn and see what happens. Skip. End the turn. Wait, Caravan. You're 2 turns, but actually I'm pretty sure you leveled up from that. Yes, you did.
Lord of Bretonnia.
Huh. Do these guys have scrap upgrades? You cannot upgrade, you do not have the required resources. Gifts of Isha. Oh, yeah, that's not ours. It's just that they use the scrap upgrade system, presumably, so that's why. You can have hidden stores. We want to max this out as fast as possible, and just to get replenishes in foreign territory. Pretty much the same for caravans the world over. Still have a strong feeling that these guys are going to attack us. Really? They're already able to construct giants. Well, okay, giants are low on the tech tree, but they're already able to construct black orcs? Ugh. That's a nasty army. Orc begins. Oh, black orcs are also a tier 3 unit. Yeah, I guess orcs get the good stuff at relatively low tier, eh? Good for them. Good for them. Anyway, I believe we are good to end the turn now. Only a matter of time until they attack us. Actually, it would be really nice if they move over here, because then we could, you know, sort of bounce towards them like this. There's Scryer. Ooh, hopefully we can kill them before they get that frickin' Pestilence Priest up and running. I don't want to deal with the Skaven Plague, though we do have the buildings and the commandments that would outdo it, essentially, so there is that to consider as well. Or maybe not so much consider as, it'll be fine, is what I'm getting at. Although a Doom Engineer in our main territory would also be really irritating, especially as we just now got to tier 4, though much earlier than other campaigns, obviously, due to the incredible growth that Bretonnia has. And I've been looking for the next snappers. I don't know if I missed them, though. The moment that they suddenly attack... Ah, no, okay, that's not them. The moment that they suddenly attack will most likely be something of a turning point in this campaign. Because we will have to rapidly pump out another army, which means not using additional units. Alright, Rocket... Okay, right, what is this? Wrath of the Fay... Ooh, Grail Shield. Yeah, but we already did Wrath of the Fay, and I wanted the Peaceful Blessings, unfortunately. So it's gotta be either Sympathy of the Fay... Oh, no, wait, it has to be... Huh? Wrathful Blessings are enabled. Wrathful Blessings are... Wait, Huh. These don't say anything about Peaceful Blessings, so are you telling me that we... just don't get the Peaceful Blessings this time around? So it's basically Wrathful Blessings or nothing? Or this? I guess we're about to find out. Compassion sounds like a peaceful thing, but it doesn't say anything about Peaceful Blessings, so I gotta try it at least once to see. Even though I really like the additional character experience gain, per turn and stuff, but I gotta find out because I don't know how it works. Even though this does really tempt me again, I gotta say. Wrathful blessings are enabled, peaceful blessings are disabled. Wrathful blessings are enabled, peaceful blessings are disabled. Compassion of the Fay. Let's give this a try. The Blood of Gyran is also really, really nice. Anyway, compassion. So, moment of truth. Okay, game, please. Another orc pile. I was just... I wanted to see. We are a little bit damaged. Why is this saying that this is a valiant defeat now? I mean, the Goblin Spider Riders are annoying. They're actually fantastic tier 1 units because of the lethal poison in SFO, and they do have stone trolls. Lots of armor and physical resistances on them, which means it'll be difficult for our range units to take them down, with the exception, I guess, of the heavy arrowheads. Fair enough, go.
Today, the lance will end what they're fully began.
Alrighty, whoops, I can find the Lord. Apparently I forgot to deploy him where he was supposed to go. But anyway, here we go. Smaller stack, but we are damaged still from the previous fight, including our line holders. One of the spears, for example, down to 25% HP. And keep in mind that the High Elves lose their much-needed martial prowess when they're below 50% HP. More importantly, the AI actually has a deceptively good stack here, hence the auto-resolve saying this is a minor victory. Like I've said before, Forest Goblin Spider Riders are devastatingly good in SFO. They have a solid weapon strength and, more importantly, that lethal poison, so they will absolutely be able to dish out plenty of damage if you let them, plus their incredible speed and strider allows them to maneuver very quickly, and the AI could certainly use them to both get away from the Knights of the Realm and go after the, well, archers, as they're seemingly doing here. In fact, at the start of the deployment, I was expecting them to go around the flanks, as the AI typically would, and thusly counter-deploy the Knights of the Realm on the 2 flanks, rather than in the center, like I have done previously with this particular caravan. But it looks like the enemy deployed those Forest Goblin Spider Riders to immediately go after our own Vanguard deployed Deepwood Scouts, so good for them. Anyway, as I was saying, on top of the 2 units of Forest Goblin Spider Riders, we have the Stone Trolls, which are of course fantastic units, incredibly tanky and high damage dealing, and 2 units of Orc Biggins, which are also much stronger in SFO than they are in vanilla. Nearly 70 weapon strength and lots of armor piercing on them. If our Knights of the Realm get bogged down fighting them, they will take severe damage, if not outright get destroyed, so we do have to be careful. But first things first, it's the Spider Riders. Granted, these are the sort of regular Spider Riders, not Spider Rider Archers, but still. I have a hard time not spamming Spider Rider Archers when I play Greenskins, because they're that good. But anyway, these guys will charge on in, and we will move our Deepwood Scouts, though they do take about 30% of their HP and damage, through the line of Elven Spears and Bretonnian Peasants as our Knights of the Realm arrive and crash into the rear lines of the Spider Riders. Fortunately, the Spider Riders, while very good, are also extraordinarily fragile and are quickly annihilated. The Stone Trolls, unfortunately, have arrived. And we do have to back the Knights off, lest their armor-piercing damage take out too many models, which we will need to take on the enemy infantry. I'd much rather have even with the fact that the Knights of the Realm have anti-large, I'd much rather use our units of spears, or even men-at-arms, to pin the Stone Trolls in place while all of our range units focus them down, but most importantly, the armor-piercing units of High Elven Archers with heavy arrowheads, which have them down to about half HP. In the meantime, our Knights will ride around, dishing out as much damage and disrupting the formation of the Orcs as possible, and just doing as much cycle charging as possible as well to inflict as much of a morale shock as possible. Every unit that stops fighting is a unit that we don't have to worry about overwhelming our main line. So charge into their rear, do a little bit of damage, and back off. Unfortunately for us, the enemy has had that wall up and running, so it does enable them to dish out a little bit of damage, but fortunately, we have been able to send the stone trolls backing. Note that they only lost 2 of their units so that they would recover near to full, but thanks to the low leadership of trolls in general, it looks like they're backing off with all of those units remaining, and since we kept firing until they shattered, they will not return. Our Empire Captain, together with our Lord, are currently anchoring the battle line, and the enemy Lord has actually peeled off to tie up one of our peasant bows. This is actually somewhat fine, in the sense that while our peasant bows are not firing, the enemy Lord is perfectly capable of knocking out both models of knights, and, as we've seen in the previous battle, of defeating our own Lord in combat, so we'll let him do his own thing and just annoy some peasant units while we kill off the rest of his army. Plus, it takes a lot of sort of effort / resources to bring the Orc Warlord down with our low armor-piercing army, so why bother? Anyway, it does look like our own Lord can no longer help anchor the line, and together with him, both the peasants and one of the High Elven spears have shattered. It does, however, mean we have another opportunity to charge into the enemy, and the double charge from both of our Knights of the Realm, together with the arrows firing, force 3 of the 4 units of Orc Boys and Biggins to shatter. And those that are shattering, and just like in a real battle, are getting in the way of the other units that are fighting. The crowd press is quite the obstacle, thus leaving only a single unit of Orc Boys still fighting. Lovely, we'll go for a rear charge into them once more, and it looks like with that the Orc Boys will shatter, and that was the last infantry unit left unrouted and unshattered on the map. Therefore, the Orc War Boss will shatter, and the battle is ours. Very nice. Certainly a lot closer than the previous fight was, especially with the severe damage on our main liners, who are all pretty much done for. I mean, not destroyed, but no longer combat viable. But nonetheless, a lovely little fight. Alright, another nice fight against the orcs, which again makes sense since we're passing through Bretonnia to get to Athaloran with this caravan, so we keep encountering enemy orcs, whereas previously we were passing through the Empire passing through the Empire to various directions and thusly encountering the Vamps. Once again, our knights did well with 27 and 16 or 17k damage. Good job to the AI for making good use of those, or trying, I should say, to make good use of those forest goblin spider riders as they jumped on our Deepwood scouts very quickly before being wiped out, but they could have really done some damage if we had not been at least partially prepared for the idea. Our line holders, well, held the line, didn't do a crazy amount of damage. Solid 9k damage out of our Lord. These two were actually instrumental to being line anchors once our basic men-at-arms had routed, and obviously our archers did pretty well as well, so the best performing ones doing as well as the knights here, with the Deepwood scouts and heavy arrowheads unsurprisingly very much outdoing the Bretonian peasantry. Ransom captives as usual. Alrighty, now. There we go. Faction destroyed greenskins. Yeah, technology researched for fight in Skaven. Good. Armor of silvered steel. Nemesis something. Then, that was the only one for Skaven, right? This also cripples our relationship with the greenskins. You know what? While we will want to do the greenskins very soon, immunity to snow attrition, immunity to barren wasteland. I'm looking for swamp attrition right now. I don't think that it's there, but I just wanted to double check. Probably not going to be doing this one. Tomb Kings we don't really care that much about because this is Old World Classic and they're not really a concern. And we have 1 turn, so we could freely get one of these, including... it would be 2 turns to get this. We just keep researching these until it's 1 turn to get water pumps and get the additional income from farms. Or we could go through these as well. I do like the additional ammunition for missile infantry, and the diplomatic relations with dwarfs would counteract the, negative relations we have with them currently. Beastmen are never going to be happy with us either. I'm going to say start with the Ruinous Powers Decree. It's an easy one. Just want to get that Valor so that it can build up without, losses. Anyway, right. Yes, okay, so this is active again, and these two are not active. And much as I like growth, research rate, construction time, and construction cost for infrastructure buildings. Now, infrastructure buildings are the farms, yes? What else do we have that's infrastructure that would... Oh, the Outpost camp was infrastructure? Ah, I should have thought of that. Could have saved a fair chunk of change. We will upgrade Castle Carcassonne as a priority. Very cheap. Huh, what about trade goods? Do they count as... No, they do not count as. Alright, fair enough. What, if anything, do we want to build out of infrastructure? Could make very cheap tailors. The taverns we want in main settlements most likely, because they can go all the way up to tier 5. Ooh, an increased Lord Recruit rank for Caravan Masters. That's nice. That's real nice. Upkeep for non-knights out of the apothecaries. We could spam these, but peasants are never going to be all that expensive, so I'm not 100% sure that that's worth it. The Chapels of the Lady gives us free chivalry on top of the adjacency bonuses, which ain't too bad. Huh. I guess then the question is that better than Chapels of the Lady? I mean, in this particular location, we already have one. And, well, there are probably other ones that we are going to want. Not entirely sure. I do know, however, here at Miragliano, we will have another one of these, and most definitely a windmill. And let's start collecting income. Beautiful. Alrighty, then. I guess we could build the tavern here with the extra construction slot. Yeah. It is a walled settlement, and it should be fine. So let's start with the tap room / tavern in this particular location. Though I am admittedly also tempted by the carpenter's workshop spam, but for now we'll go for the tap room. At least then we won't have to worry about it. Alright, then... Where'd that army go? Where'd they go? Damn it. I'm very nervous about these guys. They had a full stack. It is now gone. Oh, whatever. Fay Enchantress, you are just able to reach SKAVENBLIGHT like this, so to SKAVENBLIGHT ye shall go. Aha, Murta. Ooh, Plague Claw catapults. That's going to be concerning. On top of, what do we have here? Death Runner. Oh, wow. Alright, this is going to be a fight, and aha, they just got here via March stance. Well, good for them. Good for them. Yeah, it's gonna be a fight. We'll see if we can pull it off. Best that we can. You, go into regular stance. I think you should be in range. We're gonna level everybody up before this.
What is your behest?
You guys, wait, you can go in... Yeah, you can go in this stance rather than March stance. It's safer. Like this. And you should be able to still reach it. Oh, you gotta be freaking kidding me. Okay, go here. Thank you. And just double check. Yes, I wanted the extra peasants to help out. Like so. And you, I hope, will be in range. You're so close to rank 9. You know what, I'm gonna put you in March stance just to guarantee it. I don't trust it. I don't trust you, game.
Not possible.
You've screwed me too many times. Not in a good way. You guys go here. Alrighty, now, I believe there was also a Skaven faction down here, unless I'm mistaken, so there's a decent likelihood that we're gonna have to deal with them either. Seriously, where did that army go? This is a caravan, not an army. You can't land. Actually, speaking of caravans, one turn, unless I'm mistaken. Yeah, we can get a little bit of money for our trouble. Building wise, we will deal with in a second. Let's do the points. Earthblood, most definitely. We don't need Power Familiar right now. The rest of this, I think, is fine. Girdle of Gold. Well, you know what? For this, maybe we'll grab Girdle of Gold instead. Yeah, we already have a basic Earthblood, and I want the 15% extra ward save. It's quite nice. What do we have in terms of items? We will itemize for this. I don't really care for Luckstone. I think we'll use it with the Dawnstone. Into a Syrian's Locket, a slightly better Luckstone, but 15 physical % is not quite as bad. Did we get any? No, we did not. You know what? Get the corruption reduction. You know what? Actually, let's put this on a hero because, you know, lords never have any room. It can only be on lords. Well, screw you too, game. I was hoping to decorruptify this place. Fine, we'll just keep it on you for now. Yeah, you game. Enchanted item. We still have not a single one, do we? Go figure. Okay, well, if we have no enchanted item, we have no enchanted item. Not much we can do about that. Also not a fan of channeling stab, but we don't have anything better. Honestly not sure that, that the Wand of Jet is all that much better, but anyway. Let us see. Green Knight, you have a level. Now, we have Wisdom of the Ages. For this particular fight, we'll need all the help we can get. Galvanize the Peasantry, Leadership, Vigor Loss Reduction. Weapon Strength, this is so character buffs, though. Character experience gain per turn plus 500 is really quite nice. 20% range for trebuchets. Melee attack for basic garbage, basically. Oh, there are different trees. So, men-at-arms with swords are separate from men-at-arms with spears, polearms, and axes. Weapon strength for foot squires. Melee attack for these guys. There's buffs for knights. Grail Knights and Guardians +3/+3. Eh, nothing I'd call a big deal here, I think. Though by putting 3 points into this, we get armor +10 for all non-knight units while we have them, which is not inconsiderable. But I don't think there's anything here that would help us particularly significantly. How many sword wielders do we have? 1. Okay, so that's not worth it. And we have peasant mobs here, which I believe are not buffed by anything that the Green Knight does. So I think none of this is all that relevant. I'm instead then going to go with trying to get to None Shall Pass after Nightly Tournament. So let's get you... Oh, this is unit and this is character. No, character is much more important than unit. We will go for +8... melee attack or weapon strength? I'm going to say melee attack. The weapon strength doesn't matter if you're not landing a hit, right? So yeah, character XP gain will go towards you, so we'll start with Duels of Legend. Like so. Also, how many more turns? Okay, we got 3 more turns until we can level up the... or get the Green Knight to level up. Good. Next up, we got the Friar. Nothing here, and I believe you were saving points anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Paladin. I'm going to go with... let's say melee. You know what? Let's go for Lady's Mantle. I think that since you're on the Pegasus, there's a decent likelihood that somebody hits you with a... somebody hits you with a Howling Warp Gale, and then you get stuck and, you know, get attacked by stuff. You get replenishment after raising. Huh. Much?
Destroy them.
4,300 sack value. It's tier 4, so we'd probably take it. It's a red territory. We'd probably never invest in it again, but I'd rather take it as it currently is. So the raising in this particular situation is probably not relevant. Does this help us against Skaven? Warriors of Chaos, Chaos Dwarfs, Demons of Chaos, Undead, and Greenskins. Everything but Skaven, unfortunately. I feel like if you're going to include Undead and Greenskins in this, you could probably... The Scourge of the Undying. I can see to some degree how you can include Chaos in that with the Undead, but why are Greenskins here if Skaven are not? Are they Undying by virtue of their numbers? Alright, well, none of this seems to matter all that much, so I'm going to say Storied Hero because we will be defending. Alright. And I believe you're good. Okay, let's level you guys up now, to some degree at least. You, I believe you were maxing out Flock of Doom, which was pretty important. Let's grab you Aura of the Lady to get that spell resistance. Hopefully it won't matter all that much here, but you never know. We will not be able to get Curse of Anra here. You know what, let's get a second point in Missin's Wild Form. It's a really nice spell. Alright, and the rest of that we'll hold on to. You guys are not in need of spell work. You're just here to leech XP, so frankly you two are both going to be useless. Let's get to you, Amalric. So you have the Helm of Discord. Paladin and Friar. You have a Sword of Battle. Is there any kind of supporting items we have? I mean, I guess we could temporarily have you guys get tankier by giving you some random items, and then... Wait, you have, like, no armor. You know what? Let's give you the Armor of Silver Steel. And the physical resistance? Of all of them, I think he's the most likely to get, you know, wrecked by something, so let's do that. Then for the Paladin, we'll give you, temporarily until we give this to a Lord, the Trickster's Helm, and... You know what? Keep the Pigeon Plucker Pendant. Hold the Berserker Sword until we turn into something better. And then Engineer's Knapsack I'm going to give to you to re-up the ammunition. Alright, that's about it for them. They're ready. Let's do Diplo, let's do buildings, or what remains of them. Ah, Cult of Sotek. Doing Cult of Sotek stuff. Good for you. We'll go for the alliance with you.
Yes?
If your dinos are hungry, we got a
Savior of the
fair
realm.
peasant here and there. Let's see. Anmir and Vidrioth are ready for the defensive alliances.
What word from the lake? By all
Like
means.
so. And like so.
Hail, men of Bretonnia.
Soon we'll be able to get the
What
defensive
word
alliances
from
with the other Bretonnian factions once we are ready to defend against possible
honor
attacks
or
from the
glorious
Broken
death.
Axe, because they're doing pretty well. Frankly, we'll probably send an army up there as soon as we can. We gained vision of Mask of Loek,
Welcome
sure.
to the halls of if you wish.
Mask of Loek. Too bad that they don't have a lot of money to give us for these agreements, but...
Yes?
Huh, wait. Agents of the Moon, Cathan faction. Okay. They're gonna be dead. They have one territory left and no balance of power, unfortunately. I was gonna say there are Cathan units which are very, very nice, like those war drums that we could really use, but I think the likelihood of them surviving seems to be fairly low. Alright, anyway, I did the upgrade for Castle Carcassonne, which was the important one. I'm gonna say upgrade to Aragliano again. It's 2 more building slots. It's just such a dang good settlement that I think we have to prioritize that. Anyway, skip, and the turn. Wow, this episode went long. Well, you know what? I was originally potentially going to... Oh, I forgot about the Friar. Yeah, whatever. He was never going to reach us in time. I was going to potentially do 2 episodes today rather than tomorrow, and thusly we could do a slightly longer episode instead. Plus, I'm really invested in this fight. All of that artillery, oh, the Death Runners. Okay, Knights, it's gonna be up to you. We're lucky we have the Green Knight and the 2 knightly units that we have, because this is gonna be trouble. I'm excited. Go.
For Bretonnia.
For Bretonnia, indeed. Here we go. Definitely a make or break moment for our early campaign, as to lose and retreat here, even if our army should survive, would mean wasting so darn many turns that it would be, well, it would be pretty terrible, and we'd probably have to hunker down if that were to happen and build defenses everywhere, because these rats would then start jumping into our territories. But, well, hopefully it doesn't happen. We'll just see. Now, the way that we're going to fight this particular battle is also a little bit more thought to it than the previous battles. First of all, we're not going to advance our peasants immediately because we are going to wait for the mob, and especially considering they carry all of the enemy, all of the bowmen, which we will need to actually dish out the damage. The knights can, as usual, move towards the enemy, but the enemy has enough actually threatening units, like the Plague Monk Censer Bearers, for example, and the Death Runners, that they would be able to surround and destroy a paladin, or even a knight if we're not careful. The lucky part is, of course, that even Skaven elite infantry, like again the Plague Monk Censer Bearers or Death Runners, are still incredibly fragile units, so charge from a knightly unit will still make sure to dish out tons of damage to them. And speaking of charges, the charges will begin through 1 unit of Plague Monks, and then we're going to use the elevation to go downhill and charge through several units at once. And we're keeping the Knights of the Realm, or Knights, we're using the Knights of the Realm here to charge downhill first, because thanks to Strider, they have a little bit of an easier time getting around than the Grail Guardians currently. But they need it more than the Grail Guardians do, because the Grail Guardians are incredibly tanky, and the Knights of the Realm are actually deceptively fragile if we're not careful. So, A, we gotta keep them moving, and B, that's why we have the banner on them. Plus, they want to level up all the way to Grail Guardians themselves. In the meantime, though, the charges will continue, while our own Lord, or the Green Knight, is going to try to go after the enemy Master Assassin, that was having a rather difficult time as the enemy is still bogging us down. We've done some damage, about 20% to some units, solid 50-60% to some of the Plague Monks, but the damage isn't quite there yet. But we've got a heck of a long fight ahead of us, so it's perhaps unsurprising. We've got also, by the looks of it, our reinforcements on the field, which means our infantry will start marching towards the enemy army now. But it also means that we critically need to either knock out the enemy catapults, or at the very least prevent them from firing, so that our infantry can approach unhindered. especially since we only have one artillery piece of our own, rather, and thusly will not be able to win an artillery shootout. We can certainly see, however, like, the two knightly units effectively defeated enemy armies on their own previously, but obviously these being more elite units are not nearly as hurt. And there's still plenty of rats that we have to fight. On top of that, unless I'm mistaken, one of our paladins has been severely beat up by the Plague Monk Sensor Bearers here. So Amalric dropping down to... Actually, he was at half HP, but I used the Army Bound ability, the Blessings of the Fay or whatever it is, that gave him his HP back, I think. Or was it the Earth... or the Earthblight? Well, he healed, basically. On the bright side, though, it looks like the enemy artillery are nearly out of the picture, and the Green Knight has nearly defeated the Master Assassin not a moment too soon, as our infantry are moving towards that of the enemy, and in fact the first elements of them are beginning to charge. Our artillery are firing upon the enemy storm vermin. And here we've got our units of peasant mobs smashing into the other enemy units of clan rats and death runners. Ooh. But they're going to be backed up by the Holy Wardens of La Maison-Tal and our first Grail Relic. There we go. So these guys should A, keep fighting, and B, fight all that much stronger. Lovely. 18 melee defense on the peasant mobs now, though the Weeping Blade is reducing their armor from 16 down to 8. Or is it 15 down to 8, I guess? If it's 15 down to 8, I take it that the game rounds armor up. Although I wonder if it's probably just for visuals, as in the damage calculation actually uses the real number rather than the rounded number. That was just conjecture on my part. Anyway, the infantry have obviously arrived, but now we've sort of hit the second portion of the battle. The important aspect of this being that the knights can no longer contribute to the fight, and the rest of this has to be won by the peasants. The reason for this being that every single unit that escapes is a unit that will go back into SKAVENBLIGHT, and we will have to deal with. And this is the rats, so they run very quickly. And a decent amount of units will escape anyway, so our knights will henceforth be completely busy and just dishing out as much damage they can to the enemy units that are running away, especially those that are critical, like the enemy artillery pieces, death globes, weapons teams, really anything that would threaten our ability to carry the day in a siege. Anyway, we do have plenty of bowmen in this particular battle. I'm going to be careful to not target the enemy storm vermin, whether it be shields or halberds, because we just don't have enough range armor piercing. And we'll just leave it to the infantry to sort of bog them down. But of course the poison can target anything, because it's going to help everybody up. Going to also pop up that Vissen's wild form, and the peasant mobs will go up to 52 armor. Which will keep them alive for a little bit longer and do the double duty of preventing too severe casualties from friendly fire, as our own lack of armor piercing means that our own peasant bowmen firing into the backs of our own peasants will keep them taking less damage. Plus, on top of that, we got the additional missile resistance offered by the Shield of Thorns, plus the melee damage reflection. Lovely. Alright, well, the fighting as yet continues. And will probably do so for a while yet, though the bounce power has shifted to about 85% in our favor. And tactically, there isn't too much more to say. We just gotta keep the enemy held down while we do the damage with our peasant range units. We can see all of our knights and even most of our paladins still running around in the background, not fighting anymore, but just chasing enemies down. Only the Fay Enchantress has returned to the main line. And that's all we need, really, as by the looks of it, the main forces of SKAVENBLIGHT have at long last shattered, leaving only the Plague Monks and Plague Monk Sensor Bearers still in the fight. And the Fay Enchantress will move towards them, debuffing the Plague Monks, basically halving their melee attack thanks to the debuffs that she has. Iron, Ice Armor, and Mist of the Lady. Once again, a very, very nice combination. And if we can get some glittering scales, either on her Friar or on her Paladin, that would be really quite nice as well. And I do wonder if there are any additional melee defenses. Also, we do have our 3 prophetesses in this particular army, and they have been supporting our main lines while the paladins were together with the knights. Anyway, it looks like these sensor bearers have been cut down. One last unit remains on the field, as the peasant mobs are fighting the plague monks, though funnily enough, under the Fay Enchantress, peasant mobs are actually a fairly decent choice to fight plague monks. Certainly, the plague monks being frenzied damage dealers will be more killy than the peasant mobs, but their melee defense wouldn't matter anyway, and the 25... Well, actually, this isn't one of the Fay Enchantress's mobs. But anyway, the Fay Enchantress's mobs with their additional 25 melee attack have more than enough melee attack to penetrate the non-existent melee defense of the Plague Monks and cut them down. Like so. You gotta love the Grail Relics. It's such a silly freaking unit. It's amazing. Alright. And thanks to the Grail Relic and the immunity to psychology that it provides via the Icon of Devotion, plus the additional melee defense, and actually, we also got the additional melee defense from the armor aura, or defense aura, potentially from a paladin. So it wouldn't just, so we would be able to get 10 melee defense, wouldn't we? Certainly something to think about in armies that use these. Anyway, with that, the last of the unbreakable units are done, the Skaven are defeated, and SKAVENBLIGHT will fall. Ooh, alrighty, there we go. We do manage to pull it off as usual, in big part thanks to our knights, though, funnily enough, our knights actually did less damage and kills than... Remember, these guys had like 700 and 800 kills against the miners' settlement, and a much smaller battle with much weaker and less elite troops. And the reason for this is in part because we had to spend, well, I'd say half of the battle, with all of our knights, including the Wardens of Montfort, essentially chasing enemies down, as if they had simply run off field, then we would have had to fight them again. And thusly, the knights couldn't quite do all the work. Solid work with 119 kills and 10k damage out of the Holy Wardens of the Maison Tal. Fay Enchantress did okay with 25k damage, again, never casting a damaging spell, but thanks to that lovely damaging aura of hers. And the negative melee attack that she provides, the -18, is really great for allowing the peasants, mob or otherwise, to continue fighting. Overall, a pretty darn fun fight, and a few enemy units remain, but not enough, I think, to threaten us from auto-resolving the rest of them. We will take the money once again, because we need it, especially while we have the infrastructure cost reductions. Ransom those captives. Also, the Green Knight first slew the enemy First Lord, and then defeated the enemy Second Lord, who did manage to escape off the map, but 17k damage while taking those two on. Very nice. And I'm just really hoping that the battle did not punt us out of the siege, as that would be obnoxious. It happens sometimes, and it's infuriating. Our Ratcatcher for Verna Paravon. Sure, why not? Catch some rats. And it looks like Vicious the Despicable. Vicious the Despicable. Not quite as bad as not quite as great as that first orc that we saw, the little army at the very, very start. I saw Vicious move somewhere. Oh, he's in our territory now. Alright, that's somewhat concerning, I have to say.
I see you are true of heart.
Theodric de Brigand, you want a defensive alliance? I would love to, but again, it makes me nervous how close you are to the Broken Eggs. We can't quite fight them yet, but I think next episode we will be able to, including everybody else, since we've now started building up our new troops, so I think we're okay. What is this? Hey, Research 8 Technologies, Talisman of Preservation and Trickster Shard, very, very nice. And a little bit of extra chivalry. So is this just +7 chivalry, or is it +7 chivalry per turn? Because if it's just +7, I guess it's just +7, it's not per turn? That's really not that much. I guess we will mostly get chivalry out of traits and stuff. Well, it's still growing. Though no dilemma of confederation has been offered to us as yet, interestingly enough.
This is my land.
And if this guy attacks, well, we could defend at Summer's Hall, or Summer's Fall, rather, so if he does... Hey, ooh, 2 Wildwood Rangers, that's real nice. Perfected Twilight Helm. Physical Resistance Aura. Huh. And melee defense for own army. That's quite interesting. I don't think we'd put this on the Enchantress, though, or at least not over the Iron Ice thing, because it sort of combines with what she already has. Not it isn't nice, but I will certainly have to think about where we want to put this. Oh, War Banner. Ooh, at the end of a turn have an income. Good. That is very good. Alright, enemy killed, caravan arrived, technology researched. We are at 57 Valor now, and just out of curiosity, once this is done, yes, vow completed. Mission issued, the mightiest fortress. Makes sense since we're finally upgrading to tier 4. Tier 5 is just a stone's throw away. Yes, water pumps is 1 now, so we'll get water pumps to get the plus 20% income from farms. As we are all farms, no tailors at this time, because, well, until our public order is ready, we are not going to be dealing with that. Anyway, are you able to? Yeah, you are not able to. Sack value, eh? If we sack it, it has no breaches right now, and nobody here has siege attacker, right? Yeah.
What is your behest?
Because I was just thinking if we were to sack it... wait a moment. Now we do have the siege equipment here, which would make it easier, but sacking it would bring it down by 2 levels. I don't think we'd be able to reach Bilious Basilica in one go, and it would be nice to destroy them before they can rebuild their armies. I'm almost tempted to lose temporarily the Farquads here, which would give siege attacker to you, which would allow you to take it if we abandon the siege. And it might be worth it, because it would allow the Fay Enchantress to move here and get ready to immediately attack the Bilious Basilica real quick. And... you're probably gonna attack us and attack Campagrotta. They've pieced out with these guys now, haven't they? In fact, they're quite friendly with each other. Really? Really? They've got 1 turn? Yeah, I know where you're going. Now the other problem with that is Abino can maybe defend itself, Rivola cannot, so we wouldn't want to invest in it. Campagrotta... again, AI is not really good at using undead, so frankly, I don't think that they could take it. How many more turns do we have on the... Ooh, 12 turns for Vampire Counts, 14 turns for Greenskins. We can do... Norsky, I think, is not going to happen. But the Vampire Counts and Greenskins we can do. And actually, yeah, we've won 2 battles against the Greenskins, so taking these out would carry it for us. I can't believe we never got one against the Skaven. Wasn't one of you a rank 9?
What is your behest?
Yeah, so... oh, well, we could start another one, but... well, we should, nonetheless, regardless of that fact, do the Arcane Wisdom for the additional research. And yeah, it's once again... Vampire Coast, Vampire Counts, and Tomb Kings. Out of these, it's basically always a Vampire Counts choice while Kemmler is alive, because he's the only one nearby of those guys, or at least reasonably nearby. Anyway, as I was saying... what we will do to finish off SKAVENBLIGHT, and hopefully it doesn't screw us over too much, we will break the siege, and then...
I protect Bretonnia.
that counts as a retreat! Oh, that's interesting. Well, it's okay, we will get it back fairly quickly. But that is annoying. You can besiege. Then we will transfer... oh, I'm so annoyed that that counts as a retreat. That wasn't a retreat. Not really. Damn you. Anyway, you can get the Farquads, and then you can auto-resolve. I assume nobody will die. Doesn't look like it. Auto-resolve. We'll take some damage to the peasantry, but that's always the case. And we will occupy it rather than sacking it, because it would cost more to just occupy it anyway. And we got a carpenter's workshop, a free royal barracks, none of which are going to be of any use here. Well, that one's not. We got the apothecary in this province. You know what? Keep it for the turn. And certainly not the buildings I wanted. And Verna Parabon got the reinforcing savior thing. Good. Scroll of power. Ooh, scroll of power. Not that I care about the scroll of power. I care about this, plus fuse into a channeling staff, which we will fuse into a presumably Book of Ashore. Yeah. Pretty much always. Alrighty. Frankly, the Fay Enchantress wants a Forbidden Rod rather than a Book of Assure. Slaneshi giggle. But, it'll probably, well, we'll have to just hope that we get one. Anyway, there you go. And now the Fay Enchantress will go into the Crusade stance. Go right... Actually, you know what? Go to Channeling. Right to the edge of our territory where we will heal to full, and we will be able to attack Bilious Basilica. You guys in March stance will not quite be able to reinforce. I'm going to position you here and here. I want you close enough to reinforce Bilious Basilica, but I don't want rats. Oh, well, technically, Fay Enchantress is blocking off the territory, so I think we are maybe free to move closer. Actually, not 100% sure. You know what? Let's just leave you there. It'll keep you safer. And then you can land.
My path is revealed.
All right. All looks good to me. Anyway, folks, with that, this episode has gone extremely long, and we're out of time, so I'm going to call this particular episode here. Next time, we take out SKAVENBLIGHT or his clan Scryer for good. Also, don't bother collecting income here. In fact, we may never collect income here because of the massive control reductions, but we'll certainly need a tavern. Anyway, we'll take the clan Scryer out. We'll move through the mountains, taking out the greenskins, and we'll probably have to figure out a way to deal with this. Do we have any regiments of renown? If we have the Beastslayers of Bastogne, they probably wouldn't be enough to take on 3 units of trolls and a giant and 2 black orcs, though, so we'll need more units. But we'll see where these guys go. I don't think that even with what they have, they're going to have an easy time taking anything here. Although Embrun... well, either way. Most likely we'll fight these orcs at the very least, and then a solid chance that these guys declare war on us next turn, at which point they will attack either Campagrotta or Vola, and we'll want to go and knock them out. And frankly, these guys for becoming friendly with them, because that has annoyed me tremendously. How dare they? Yeah. Anyway. We'll deal with that next time, so stay tuned, and for the double episode next time around as well. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below to maintain the streak. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.